Wednesday, March 1st. This is a pre-opening SPY report, first day of a new month. That's a pretty important day. But for now, after yesterday's sell-off at the end of the day with a red bar, we have a pre-market range that is pretty wide. It kind of, the high of the range is the midpoint of yesterday's bar. The low of the range where we're close to now is kind of down here, setting up a continuation, two down continuation day. It looks like near the open. You can see here the pre-market range. We were trying to gap up overnight a little bit, but now we're selling off kind of near the lows with about a half hour to go. So what's happening now to start the month, the opening price, wherever it would be, let's say we open right here, whatever that's going to be an important barometer in terms of the continuity, either up or down. We are obviously expecting continuation lower to broaden out below this green bar here. That's like a compound, two up, and then these three bars, if we head lower, could be an outside bar here. What's interesting about that, should we head lower today, which is expected, is that kind of triggers, first of all, you have the double bottom here that I would think you're going to take it out. And if we head lower there, that's the trigger on the two down month. Now, normally, if that happens right today, yeah, you would definitely start anticipating these three lows are going to be reached sometime in the month of March, but it's happening right. The trigger on the monthly chart will happen right on the day where you're broadening out, and that could be a pause area where you might get a little bit of a rally. So it's possible to kind of trigger the monthly two down, but not get immediate continuation. And you might have to wait for some kind of a daily or weekly pullback. And then as long as we hold certain levels and don't really get above the midpoint of this month, at some point we'll turn back down. So it's kind of important to realize if we do head down there, the question is, is it an immediate, do you immediately jump in for the month of March, or is it better to wait? It's probably better to wait since you're broadening out in the short term. But also it's possible, let's keep in mind, let's say this yellow bar becomes the opening price. Let's say we come down and don't reach those levels, which would, given this double bottom here, I would think that's, it's hard to avoid that. But let's just say somehow we come down on a two down and then we get a two up into, Thursday and Friday. All of a sudden, the open of this month, we're going to stay green and we're going to maybe miss our broadening action. We could be starting, that could be the beginning of maybe a big turnaround to the upside. You're not anticipating that, but it's something to keep an eye on. Also today, let's say we open up down here, near the lower blue line, and we fail to get down there. We go to the halfway point of this bar. That could be an immediate failure. And of course, we'll open up somewhere down here. And if we can get to the midpoint of yesterday's bar, which is kind of the upper end of this range, the midpoint of yesterday's bar is right here at the upper end of the pre-market range. So if anything's going to fail today, we're going to have to get above that to confirm it. So keep that in mind. Other than that, we might be in a little conflict if we open down here and get green on the month temporarily, but we're still below the midpoint of the prior day. So we're just going to have to really judge the open and where price goes from there. We kind of know the level today. We're going to have to get above the midpoint of this bar for anything to be to the upside. And then if price should head down, we're going to really monitor taking out these levels and see how strong the continuation may be to the downside. So anyway, that looks like we're opening down. Let's say we open somewhere down here. That's going to be the open of the month, and in the days ahead, we'll kind of reference that point going forward a lot as we kind of look at the way March unfolds, and definitely anticipating, again, in the big picture, price getting a two down month, and whether we get immediate continuation or whether we kind of then pause a little bit. At some point, we do have these three lows here, which look like would be the next target into March. So until things change, till the weekly chart turns up in some form, we'll see how the week ends after 2 more days of trading. Until the weekly chart really turns up, we're still going to be biased to the downside.